Alright, cool cats. Welcome back to another Welch review. Sam, what are we talking about today?
I don't know. Can you slide over a little bit?
Yes, sir.
I think today we're talking about Boondock Saints 2.
Oh, All Saints Day.
Yeah, which is not my favorite film. I think the first one was better.
Definitely.
But before we get into that, who do we got in this?
So, this movie was written and directed once more by Troy Duffy. And it stars Sean Patrick Flannery, Norman Reedus. Together they play the Boondock Saints. Billy Connolly, Julie Benz, Judd Nelson, Clifton Collins Jr., Bob Marley, Brian Mahoney, David Ferry, Peter Fonda, and of course David Della Rocco, who plays Rocco.
Yeah. So just as a disclaimer, it's a different Bob Marley, not the one you're thinking of.
Oh, I miss him.
Yeah, I never met him.
Yeah, me either, but
yeah.
I like the idea of it.
That's good.
Okay.
So anyways, yeah, so this movie is about two brothers who are kind of basically just vigilante hitmen.
Yeah, a lot of inspiration from this was like Pulp Fiction and Scorsese films.
Yeah.
But like it picks up with where the last movie left off.
Yeah, it picks up with the two brothers in Ireland and they're chilling with their dad. So they're chilling with their dad and then they find out that back in Boston, there's somebody impersonating them. They murder the impersonator murders a priest that they were close friends with. So that happens, and they decide to go back to like get revenge for this priest who got killed, who they were friends with,
and defend their name.
Because of course they're local heroes in Boston.
Which, of course, now that they're murdered and they're potential suspects, triggers a whole new investigation from the first one. So this special agent, Eunice Bloom, comes in, and you know the three detectives who ended up helping them out are worried that they are now going to get wrapped up in murder charges for helping the Saints, especially if you know they are connected to this slain priest, which they're not, and they know that they're not.
Yeah.
So it's just an impersonator. So there's this whole sequence like where when they're preparing to come over, where it's just like them shearing their beards.
It's a Batman suit-up scene. Minus the nipples.
It's not as cool as Batman.
I don't know. I think honestly that was one of my favorite parts of the entire film, minus the part where they're just showering.
I got you.
You know, because Batman suit-up scenes are solid regardless of what anybody says. The Batman credit card was a great idea.
The Batman credit card.
I will die by that statement. Live and die by that statement.
So anyway, so now the Saints, they're coming back over to Boston. He's staying in Ireland with the sheep.
Yep.
And since Rocco died in the first movie, they have this new sidekick named Romeo, played by Clifton Collins Jr. And I feel like they're really trying too hard to make him
likable.
Yeah, likable and like fit in with the crew.
Yeah, a lot of the times like they'll kind of just be making like racial slurs.
Yeah.
About the fact that he's Spanish and like.
Oh, he's Mexican.
That's a kind of Spanish
yeah, I know,
stuff.
but specifically they're making fun of him because he's Mexican.
Well, not just that, but general Spanish racial slurs, which I'm not really down with.
No.
I mean, Boston is constantly rated as the most racist city in America, so I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it. Not the most, but
it's up there.
It's pretty high on the charts for a northern state.
So the racism's not ideal, nor is it funny.
Yeah, and the character of Romeo himself is very over the top and dramatic about like everything. And I don't really think that works that well for the character. Additionally, I feel like, and you can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but the detectives seem to have gotten dumber since the last film. Like, they just seem kind of stupid. And it's kind of aggravating to watch their scenes.
Yeah, like they're back and forth, just kind of like it's like a Three Stooges thing. They insult the other one, threaten to hit someone, and that's kind of it, right?
Yeah.
And they're trying not to get caught. And Eunice Bloom, is realistically like the same kind of setup as William Dafoe's character for the first one. Not that she's not good. Julie Benz she does a good job as Eunice Bloom, especially with the southern accent. And you know, there are some really cool shootouts, I would say, in this movie, but like it's trying, I think, to be like definitely a sequel and up the ante. Like it's trying to be like Godfather 2. Like when they do flashbacks to explain like, you know, their dad's past and like his connection to the current bad guy who's just referred to as the old man, and that's played by Peter Fonda. He doesn't do a bad job, but it's like I don't really believe him as an old mafia boss.
Yeah, well, I mean, that guy's not even a mafia boss, is he? He just has, like, ties to the mob, and he's, like, powerful within the government or whatever. He has some influence somehow, some way, somewhere.
But, like, I don't find him menacing or believable as in that role.
And, like, they do... Okay, so two things. One on Eunice Bloom. Basically, whenever any crime goes down, they have Eunice Bloom come in and explain what happened at the crime scene, and it's just... I don't think it works.
Not this time?
You know, I don't think that it works well. At least not this time. And I don't know what it is. I think that they over dramatize like her sex appeal.
Definitely.
And they just have like silly scenes where she's like twirling a pistol, and it's like, you're wasting my time.
Yeah.
Like that's 20 seconds of my life.
You know,
that I just lost to you twirling a pistol.
They also do that, like, don't get me wrong, David Del Rocco was great in the first movie, but they have, like, random, like, dream sequences where he talks about, like doing hard man shit, you know, and how that doesn't arouse him in a gay way. But it's like, what is the point of that sequence? You know, it's just to get David Del Rocco in the movie, right? It's just fan service to get him in, which... Okay, fan service is cool, but like, I don't know, you're kind of shoehorning a character into a movie where he doesn't fit.
Yeah,
you know?
He's dead.
And then they're also jamming like Billy Connolly's past into this movie, you know, and I don't know.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't think that is the most believable. Like, I don't know, it screams Godfather 2 ripoff.
Right.
Whenever they do the past sequences, and it doesn't have like the Godfather like charm to back it up. You know, it's very
like the guy they had play younger Billy Connolly was not good.
Yeah,
he was not good. Like there's a scene where he just looks into the camera directly, raises his eyes, and then screams like ah, you know, and it's like,
yeah,
no,
yeah, I don't know. It's just too over dramatic at times, and like some of the charm of the first movie was that it was over the top. And it was good fun, and that is cool, but I feel like there's only so far over the top you can go before it stops being fun and entertaining and starts to become stupid. And I feel as though this movie kind of played around that edge a little too much. And there are definitely some scenes that are done well when they go over the top.
Yeah.
For example, there's a scene where they rappel in through a window, and whenever that happens in a movie, I enjoy it because it's cool.
Yeah.
And then there's also scenes where a short Italian man fills up a dead priest because he wants to see how tall he was. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, like, is that needed? Or the Mexican guy fights like this giant Frenchman who's like 20 feet tall, and Romeo has his hands tied behind his back for the entire fight.
Yep.
You know, and like Romeo never does anything that cool ever again.
No.
It's not like a consistent.
After that, he just becomes like a joke.
Yeah.
Like even his catchphrase, like "ding dong," you know, like that's not funny.
Yeah.
It's not even cool. I mean, that probably is the point, but like I don't know, the joke doesn't pay off. So like I feel like they had a really good setup for a sequel. And you know, there's some good parts, some good elements to it, but like it was just more of the same.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't really up the ante. You know?
I think that they just did in the wrong ways.
You know, and this movie definitely leaves the door open for a third one. If there will ever be one, who knows? There's also talk of a prequel series, which I'm interested how they'll pull that off. You know, how they'll go back. But I don't know. Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day. It's a mixed bag. Watch at your own risk, I guess.
Definitely not as good as the first, but it, I wouldn't necessarily suggest it to people, but it's not the worst film I've seen. I wouldn't call it bad, I just call it not necessarily good.
Not necessarily good.
You know?
So, watch or beware.
This has been a Welch review.
Stay gold.